Absolutely. I mean, AJ, a lot more limited time on tour, but has shown us a ton and shown the entire world or another, some medical stuff, some prior commitments, and you know, you kind of seem like maybe there's some players on a certain level somewhere where I could get that title.
We told you we'd let you know how the Mickey Krause match finished. We did even better by showing it to you there, and he is now through. So it was the opportunity of a lifetime for those guys, and some responded to it better than others who stood up best to it. There must be guys looking at the draw and thinking, okay, these are all good players, but there's nobody. How do they respond to having a big opportunity to really go deep in one of these events, an opportunity that they might not normally have?
Got a lot of power, though. Good touch. You know, and you look at, do we have any ourselves?
Well, was the other one, so very good point.
Yeah, and you know, Makinen, right, he was kind of...
Duan Kwok Wang hasn't been to a big semi-final yet, but he's been in some big quarter-finals. In fact, he was in trying to claim a last 16 spot. And he's off to a decent start.
Best out there. Really does. Yeah, a little awkward. Like, what's the kid's name from Germany that's so good at it?
Yeah, Felix Vogel.
As a young man, but as a favorite in a lot of matches also, so which is a different kind of feeling than an underdog too early. But this AJ Manis, he's definitely ready to be out here with the big boys, I think.
Yeah, and in any sport, you're always looking for new stars to come through. You're not just looking at their ability to play, it's everything else about them, the way they play, the style, and a little bit of unpredictability goes a long way. And I think Manis has got the full package in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, didn't get to talk to him a ton there at the PLP, but seems like a genuinely sharp young man, and a really good young man.
And certainly a very good player.
Man, he's picked up the speed since the PLP also, and looking for a pocket on the three. He's got it in the side. Well, he's got the corner also. Never mind, the eight's not in the way, so this is a more comfortable way to play the ball. Again, another gorgeous day here in Telford. Just really awesome weather, and I would never say we hear complaints about the tables. You know, sometimes it's just comments, oh man, they're playing super tough, or, you know, maybe a hair bouncy because of this or that, but no complaints this week with the weather so perfect. We play indoors, but I don't know, I just think it keeps the players in a better mood. Everyone feels better about things when the weather's so nice. Now this shot got awfully odd from nowhere. Head spin. The nine's a big ball as far as getting shape on that black eight. Yeah, I thought it was missable. He tried to attack with outside, and I don't think that was a big option, really.
Dean Shields from Manchester, who of course beat him in his home country at the Hanoi Open back in October, 10-8. And it was the other way around this time. Duan coming through 10-8, and here he is.
Got a little quiet for maybe a year or so, but I think he's back and he's better. And a great shot there with the jump cue. And what I was talking about earlier, there's players you don't necessarily list as the best jumper. At Scottish Open last year, that was an incredible field, just like it was this year, and Duan took that down. And that kind of field are the type of players you got to beat once, where they can win one of those smaller ranking events, even though a tough field compared to one of these majors.
Yeah, he was back in Glasgow last week to defend that Scottish Open title. And then beaten by Riku Rompainen in losers qualification. But that's not quite as early an exit as it would be in one of these events, because it was only a 16-man single elimination phase. He's also been a semi-finalist recently in one of the smaller ranking events, semi-final.
All right, he's going to draw the ball here. Ivan should extend his lead. Yeah, I mean, you know, was in a real battle in his last round. He was in a few battles to survive, from what I remember, on the one-loss side of the early rounds of this event. So he's just become a real seasoned veteran that that has a lot of talent.
Now that's table 5, Loho Sum, who we were talking about a few moments ago. He has that great record against top players, but again, here he is struggling against someone who you might have made him favourite against, Imran Majid. Table Duel off to a very good start.
Yeah, this didn't like the way those opened too much. We'll get another look here in a moment. Kind of wonder if the rack was fully intact.
2 drawing ones in a row for DQH. Almost went further. He was involved in a wonderful match against Carlo Beato. Only went down 10-9.
You know, and all players have their own pace of play, but one thing all of us can take from this young man is he doesn't worry about the simple ones. You know what I mean? Like when you get in a big moment, you can start to stress about all shots. And when you don't allow that to happen, when you do get in that stressful situation, you're not already there. So it doesn't get so high and intense between the ears, which definitely affects the back arm.
Yeah, and he's got that youthful sense of not really having any major battle scars in his past, and yeah, it's reflected in his manner around the table and the way he plays. And well, that's managed to stay up, so this should be a very quick rack. Duong not getting away with the dry break this time. AJ.
Yeah, this table's been awfully stingy on the one. Not so much with the cube. Always felt like Comino had, of course, being younger and whatnot, and still trying to. Guy that, you know, we all like the guy that can keep it between the ears, but I also like that player that doesn't mind showing how upset they are about a loss and whatnot, even.
Mino, but I think he said last year he just wants to be known as Suto now.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a different thing with names in Spain. It's something to do with the names of both of the families that you've come from, both of them.
Yeah, a bunch of youngsters playing in this round, of course. Game's getting younger, it seems like every sport.
You know, both of these guys in different ways make it look really easy, don't they? Manus just glides around the table, and Duong sort of ambles around the place a little bit, almost like he's not really even thinking about what he's doing. They can both make the game look a good deal easier than we know it certainly is. And this has been a good start from Duong Kwok Wang. Scratch break from Manus again. And he's exploited it just as much as he did in the opening rack, and so we now have multiple racks in it.
Sam Anderson, good shout out to him making that final 64. Constantly building on that game. I know he didn't have the match he wanted. See a combination of really good fundamentals and a lot of talent between Duong and Manus.
Beaten Braben by 10 racks to 6. Now faces a very interesting clash with the tournament favourite Joshua Filler.
Yeah, and hats off to Tyler. A lot of people, doesn't seem like there's a mistake in him at the moment, Joshua Filler, but we'll see how it unfolds.
Steyer's one of those guys who, if he was playing team sports, he'd be a fan favourite, because you know he's always going to go out there. It means so much to him.
Yeah, and he's, you know, in a team sport, especially a pro sport, there's players that always get questioned. Oh, why are they starting? Why are they on the team? Why are they players that they play with understand that role that they play and they bring every time? And Tyler's kind of one of those, and that's why to me, and unless someone shows otherwise, he's a hard guy not to pick for that Mosconi Cup team. Boy, he got odd here. Can he get enough on it to move the cue ball out? Oh, sweet stroke. Elevated over the 9. That one will make you feel good.
And he's now completed the first half of that task in very impressive fashion. And with his first break in
the gap at the 3 here definitely has a piece of it, and so may have a direct look. He's so good when he elevates the cue. It's amazing, really.
How many times did we say that during the Reyes Cup last year? We kept pointing to that particular strength of his.
Sachet around the table, but I'll tell you one thing he does better than most is he stays real still when he elevates that cue, and that makes a huge difference on success. To put all the heat possible on this young man of A.J. Manis, and it's got to be that way just because I kind of feel like Manis has the mentality, I don't care what the score is, as long as I can get to the breaking end, I can make up a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah, Duel was one of the stars of that Reyes Cup week in Manila back in October. He won both of his doubles and one of his singles. He actually had a chance to clinch the cup for Asia, chance to get Asia to the magic number of 11, but he lost to Shaw as well and fell to MVP Aloysius Yap to clinch it in the next match against FSR.
I feel like Team Asia kind of corralling around this man at the table right now had a big part on them. The camaraderie they showed for this man here really helped that team to an easy win.
Yeah, they were 4-0
last. Nice. I think figured out this. Yeah, it seems like every match that week at the Spanish Open was hill.
Put us all through the ringer because, as you recall, that venue was so hot. Wanted to punish us by keeping us in there as long as possible. But it was a great tournament, won by Dang Jinhu. Double bill, of course, with the World Cup.
Yeah, I tell you, those events, and Lugo is a beautiful city. I mean, just, it was easy to stay there anyways, but sometimes you have back-to-back events. It can, this angle shows us he's got even more going towards the 7. That's just a beautiful shot. You talk about one that is hide there. 7 does pass the 8, so no real issues.
Yeah, he had those couple of quarterfinals year before last, but didn't really in 2024 and didn't go any further. That was at the US Open. SVB actually ended his run there. But he's already at a quarterfinal this year at the European Open. In this form, who's to say what he might do here in Telford this week, because he's playing really well, and with his second break, the sort of player who, if he can get a foothold, can turn this around, and maybe it's going to come here. Well, maybe not.
If he hits underneath it, he feels like the 1 is wired to the upper corner off the red 3. Yeah. Very good experience beyond his years, this young man.
Starts to turn this around here.
Oh no. Overcut the 2 to the pocket suspect. And now he's got to do something. The 4 doesn't pass. So he's coming across for the combination.
Well, this would be a very nice way to start the comeback. A quick kill. And A.J. Manis finally stops the roll. 7-2 down, but he has just taken rack 10. But needed to build on it with the 1 on the side.
I hate to say it, Michael. I don't think these guys are getting the... He's going to elevate, so he's going to draw to the side cushion, trying to kill the ball bit for the 2. Wants to fall here underneath it. Why is it? Okay, looks like he's just going to stun. He's going to need a friendly bump. I think he'll get it.
You always do.
6-9, 3 rails to the center of the table. That actually lays pretty decent. This speed control's very ideal, not getting too thin, but also
well, this is turning into just about as good a display as we've seen from anyone on the main table next round, because he played Torsten Homan twice during that run to the quarterfinals in Sarajevo back in March. Beat him in winners qualification, and then after Homan had come through on the loser's side.
I've had my eyes on Thorsten several times this week, and I really like what I've seen. Always plays steady, I mean, but I just feel like he looks really comfortable. Playing a good shot on the 6 there, by the way. Coming 4 rails for position on the brown.
So Manus attempted comeback. Both now been eliminated following the defeat earlier today for defending champion Robbie Capito.
A huge shot there from Duel, especially after missing a pretty easy. After making that miss, a lot of players easy to maybe want to draw that, make the make a little easier, a little more comfortable. I have to play this on the side if I have to. It's perfect here.
So as I said, two players who've really made a name for themselves to one extent or another on the World 9-Ball Tour. At this and expecting a close one. Not looking so likely now. Killed this as a contest.
Yeah, really, I mean, besides the break shot, which has cost Manus 2 scratches, of course, that you can't always predict, some dry breaks, but clearing mistake, it's just been exceptional pull by the Vietnamese star.
And that is now 6 on. Controlled the match.
Yeah, we've had a few scores like this today, but not performance, and maybe a hair of fortune at the right time. Okay, got it down. He finally missed the ball. But
16, the last remaining last 64 match has just been completed. Max Lechner winning that hill finish against Wang Hung Sang. Lechner, another player who has yet to win one of these big matchroom titles. It's no surprise to see the name Duong Quoc Huang, British Open in 23, the European Open already this year. But perhaps the way he's playing here,
finally gave one up. Didn't expect it there, but 3 victory, but AJ still got a chance.
just as we were beginning to pen the last rites for this match, Manus looks as though he's going to extend it here. Duong has done very little wrong in this match. He did something. AJ Manus is battling to stay in it.
Pure stroke there to draw off the 6. That was a very heavy contact on the 6 also.
Previous rack, couldn't quite get the job done then. Still some way off that happening for Duong Quoc Huang this week, but if he can continue to play like this, who's to say it won't be his time.
Alright, just one more task really here on the 4. 2 rails for the 5. Got enough speed? It's got to go a little bit. Yes, it is.
He's looked very in control of his game. Yes, there was that lapse in the previous rack, but it was very much at odds with what we've seen from him throughout the day. But hold on, what's he done here?
Yeah, as soon as he hit it, it seemed like too much speed, and now I don't think this is really cuttable. Undoubtedly going to draw the cue ball. This is short, so AJ's still got life.
For the second rack in a row.
Yeah, it's going to hold up. So Duong's going to get a pretty easy shot at the 8 to finish this match.
Well, as I said, I think we expected a close one here, and it looked as though we were going to get it when Manus was only 1 behind at 3-2. Friday at these events is all about claiming one of those coveted last 16 spots, and the first of them has gone to Duan Kwok Wang. He defeats AJ Manis by 10.